All right, let's stay on the events in D.C., not only from yesterday, but over the last week, and bring in Congressman Tom O'Halloran, a Democrat from Arizona's 1st Congressional District. And Congressman, it's great to speak with you this morning. Let's begin with yesterday's impeachment vote, you voting to impeach the president, and just your view on the necessity of taking that action in the wake of what happened at the Capitol last Wednesday.
Well, good morning. It's always sad when you have to do something like that. We should never have gotten to that position. Presidents usually don't lead an attack on the Congress of the United States, try to stop voting on an issue just because they're involved in it. This has been something that has been coming to a final end last Wednesday over the course since November 3rd. And that is just this continuing of trying to ramp up the messaging and basically falsehoods after 60 courts had clearly identified that there was no case here. And in bipartisan across the nation, these elections were held. So this has been a terrible time for America.
Congressman, it's Julie here. Incredibly, of course, there are still some of your Republican colleagues who are holding to that narrative, that false narrative that President Trump did not lose the election. And even those who aren't necessarily holding to that narrative have not voted to impeach. So as you go forward into the Biden administration, into the seating of the next Congress, and you focus on things like an aid package that President-elect Biden is set to outline tonight, how does that work? I mean, how is the feeling among you and your colleagues across the aisle at this point?
Well, they better get on board because forget about the politics of it. The realities are we have too many Americans dying day after day after day. It has a profound impact on our economy, as you can see by the unemployment numbers today, and those could get worse. We waited after the HEROES Act was passed. We waited until almost the end of the year in order to get a package out. That is just, government can't take 6-7 months off from a pandemic and something is having such a profound impact on our nation, and then say, oh, we better do something now. It's a continual process, and there is no excuse, just none. The facts are the facts. We know where we were at and what was going on. And still there was a refusal by the Senate to do anything, and the president.
Congressman, President-elect Joe Biden this evening looks like he will put forward a $2 trillion stimulus plan. Do you view that as just a down payment, given how much the pandemic has taken a toll on the U.S. economy? And realistically, we are back in the same seat 1 year from now asking for another $2 trillion stimulus plan.
Well, we don't know where hopefully the logistics and the inoculations on the vaccine are going to speed up. We are going to get the country in a position within the next number of months to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I asked Dr. Fauci back in the summer during the Energy and Commerce Committee hearing how we were looking for the fall and winter of this year. Were we going to be in a position to address these issues? He said he hoped we would be. I asked him again in September, same message. He hoped we would be. Obviously, we're not. And there was plenty of time to plan for the logistics, for the training, for the educational process that needed to go out. And that just was never accomplished. And that's another one of these issues where I don't know where our federal government was. I know that there was money available. We asked for more money, and again, the Republican caucus decided not to want that, and it had to be a fight at the end to save American lives. And our business environment is, as is indicated, in trouble, especially small businesses. And we have to try to find a way to address this. You know, we've invested about $4 trillion right now. The Biden proposal is $2 trillion, plus or minus. And that'll put us at $6. We have to keep investing. You don't look at an investment of $6 trillion and look back and say, well, I guess we shouldn't do anything else now. we would lose a tremendous amount of investment in America if we did that. And we also need to get a infrastructure plan completed in this time period also.
Congressman, one place you have been is on as a member of the House Agricultural Committee. What do you think President Trump's legacy will be on the topic of trade and farm employment?
Well, trade is, we've had a complete failure in trade for the most part. Our job is to work with the economies of the world, not to pull back from them, negotiate, get a level of fairness. But this type of blunt force trauma that says, we're just arbitrarily going to go and put tariffs on and not think there's any repercussions from that is just false. And we need to be partners. This is not 1950. This is a world that's integrated economy, and we have to move forward in a way that's representative of that. And our farmers were hurt badly. It's going to take time to get that market share back. I was down in Brazil and Argentina about a year ago or so. They have massive amounts of agriculture down there. They're increasing it. In fact, during on soybeans, they bought our soybeans and they shipped soybeans out to China and others. And they bought ours cheap, so shipped it out at a huge profit, and our farmers were suffering. There's no reason for that. And some of the programs that the farmers have been able to get have helped out, but that's nothing compared to being able to have a good productive system.
Congressman, I want to switch gears and talk a bit about the pandemic and specifically the state of the pandemic in your district. Your district has a large population of Native Americans. We have seen reservations in this country hit particularly hard, both in your state and then in the upper Midwest as well, Montana, the Dakotas, and so forth. What is the state of the response in Arizona right now? How frustrated are you by the lack of federal leadership on this? And what do you hope happens in the months ahead so that we can finally start to think about putting the COVID-19 pandemic behind us?
Well, I get a report every day on the tribal lands. The Navajo are up to 870 some family members dead. We have about 13,000 plus that have been able to get over the virus. That's not a good ratio at all of deaths to success. And a continuing amount of people getting 190 some today. White Mountain Apache, Hopi, San Carlos Apache, all these tribes that are up north in my district. There's 12 totally in the district. Some are closer to metropolitan areas, and you can see the difference. And it took, when Navajo first started, you knew that there was a hot spot there. And well, I did. It took the state government and the federal government 3.5 weeks to start to really pay attention to it. People were dying at that point in time. I'm frustrated. We have calls in to the governor all the time. He's never answered one of our letters. We put letters into the task force. I have yet to receive a response to multiple letters. We've made phone calls, obviously. Indian Health Services is under the jurisdiction of Energy and Commerce Committee. We've had much better representation out of them over the last number of months than we did originally. And I don't look at that as a failure on their part. I look at it as a failure upon the part of the administration to not understand that investment in healthcare is an important aspect of American society. And you can see by the map there, Arizona has that big dark blue or purple blue, and that is just terrible. And we're one of the lowest, 47th or something like that on the amount of vaccinations. That's unacceptable for a state the size of our state. The leadership is not doing its job.
And Congressman, the leadership of the country is changing, but the leadership of the state is not in terms of the governor. So what hope do you have that things are going to improve Do you expect some help, for example, from the federal government in this next stimulus package? Or what is hopefully going to change in the coming months?
Well, I think logistics is going to change. The distribution of vaccines is going to change. I think it's a good thing that we moved the age down to 65. We have to get people getting vaccinated. We will have a better education program for those entities to be able to get more people that are qualified to be able to give the injection. That's missing across our nation, and hopefully we'll get a database. We've been asking for a database and a coordinated plan now since the beginning, March of last year, but consistently. And we've put money in to try to get that. And it's been denied time and time again by the administration. And that's going to change. You cannot have good planning and without the appropriate amount of knowledge and information that you need and require. And right now, I don't think they have that. I know they don't have that. It's obvious. And we've asked, I can't tell you how many federal officials I've talked to and asked, whether in committee or otherwise, what's your plan? Well, we're doing this. That they've never put a plan together. And that's obvious by the results.
And certainly we all hope that changes starting next week. All right, Tom O'Halloran, Democrat from Arizona's 1st Congressional District. Congressman, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.